Hello and welcome to Patreon. My name is Vechnavatra and this is tutorial how to start a proper settlement. Today we are going to focus on several important things that you need to pay attention to when starting a new settlement. Now, first thing that you need to acknowledge on the map selection screen is the weather or climate, because based on that selection your building priority will heavily depend on that. Next thing is the soil and ore abundance on that particular map. That selection is going to impact your entire production and can cause huge problems in mid and late game. So, if you're new to this game or want to play casually without stress, select tropical map with high soil fertility and high ore richness. For the preset, I would suggest to play on the default setting until you understand what each setting will affect the new game. When you have selected your destiny and you are on the map, pause the game right away and put your thinking cap on, since this step is extremely important. Now, zoom out with your mouse scroller, and if you don't see the minimap in the left bottom corner, press M, which is the default key. See where your town hall is located on the map, roam around to assess the terrain and have the rough idea what is going on to be the wider area of interest for the future. Do not unpause the game until you know what will you do. Now press key G twice to get to the soil fertility grid and find all green areas that are in the wider area around you. This step is extremely important because your production of various things will depend on your utilization of every square on that green area. When you have that information, use it to plan your expansion of settlement into those directions right away. Next thing, press key G one more time to get to the ore grid view and yet again find all green ore squares in the wider area. At this point, you should have a very good idea where your expansion or settlement will go until the mid-game. To conclude your planning task, see where isn't any ore or fertile soil and a bit further away from your settlement, that is where you will build forest and lumber production. Everything else in between and around that is a free real estate for residents and production buildings. Let me show you the example of good urbanization and planning could look at the middle and late game. This is the initial map of Archipelago, and here are the fertile soils and rich ore areas. Now this is the same map on the mid-late game, and now check where is the residential and production areas and see how each rich area is utilized for maximum efficiency. Here is the fertile area. Here, and this is the ore areas, here and here. Beside that, here are designated forest areas for lumber production. Here, here, and here. Oh yeah, you're gonna need a lot of lumber in this game. You have at this point rough idea how could you develop if you want to use every piece of square available on the map. Now let's get back to the post game and see what your selection of the map climate is going to affect your immediate priorities before you unpause the game. There are basic two types and two subtypes for hot. Major types are hot and cold, and subtype is dry and tropical for hot, while cold is, well, self-explanatory term. As already mentioned, what you need to build right away and have as soon as possible is very dependent on this climate. This is an easier and less punishing environment, and that is the reason why it is better solution to play it for the beginning. Now, as for the priority of this climate, make sure to have this priority: food, housing, and then production. First build 6 houses for 5 families and have 1 vacant house. Then go to the production buildings and build following: forester hut, and make sure you have as much as possible efficiency for these starting building. So place the hut, now place the hunting lodge, gatherer's shelter, herbalist, and sawmill a bit further from forest area. At this point you can unpause the game and start building everything. Lumber will be one of your most important resources. A lodge and gatherer will provide food, herbalist income from dogs export, and sawmill will keep your settlers warm during the winter. Now, as soon as you can insulate houses to reduce the upkeep during the winter, then upgraded food building, leave herbalist and sawmill as is, but when you have coins, reduce the upkeep for sawmill, since it is very costly at start. Winter in hot climate is not harsh, but make sure you have good production of sawmill to survive first few years, since your settlers could die. As you can imagine, if your settlers can die during the winter on a hot climate, have a rough idea how punishing this will be on a cold climate. Your priorities on this climate should be different than on hot one, and this is a starting suggestion. Build 2 shelters, then repeat the production buildings: forester, gatherers, herbalist, and sawmill. For this weather, make sure to invest in insulation, then upgrading sawmill and lumber as soon as possible and expand when you can. After you're sure that you will be able to survive the climate, upgrade the food and start building houses. After you make all the basic production, it is time to go into research area and start expanding your settlement. I would suggest to first go to Quarry and Construction Goods Decree, which you should enact as soon as possible. Then go to the lower branch, Fisherman's Hut and Clear Path until you finish researching food production and enact it in a town hall. When you can, reach the shore as well, so that you can build Fisherman's Hut and docks. This is a very important part. Now, at this point, your settlement should have enough stability to start pushing toward Gathering Hold, first milestone of the settlement, and also will be near getting the stone roads. Make sure to check out Research Tree and pay attention to the red-brown item, which are the bonuses. Read it slowly and have the idea which building is going to give you bonuses when they are near other buildings. This is very important, since it will affect your building strategy and also significantly boost your production. For the green research items, read it, make sure to get and utilize all that will boost your production and reduce upkeep. Later on, when you have production, you can try and enact different degrees. Don't research decoration until you need it to unlock something on your settlement, or your settlement is stable with production and needs. Make sure to build depots as much as possible to prevent your stock getting full, and aim to get warehouses soon as possible. Hot climate will bring some dangers in the form of wildfires. When you see that, demolish or upgrade that building right away, and literally right away, or that is going to spread everywhere. For production, make sure to read each building what is the cost of the upkeep, so that you can have enough resources always and build enough storages. Also, never ever accept events from king when he wants to raise the taxes on some goods. It is not worth, no matter what you think. Always choose penalty instead of having higher taxes. And one more important note, make sure to lock the usage of products, so that they are only used for production, like wheat for instance. key to this game is balancing production of materials so that you have enough products while having the food and never lack the empty houses so that you can have stable flow of new families. Of course, this is a rough overview of everything, but its purpose is to help you survive the beginning, and when you land on your feet, you can be creative and do whatever you feel like. Also, if you have any issues, come to the Patreon Discord, ask if something is not clear, people will always help you and support you. This is the conclusion of this tutorial. Hope that it will help you enough, and if you like it, please be kind to give a like and subscribe so that you help me in return to grow this channel.
Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, have a magnificent day and bye bye. Yeah!